Hello guys, and it's me, Fairy. It's me, Fairy Susu again. And today we're going to read another book. Okay? And let's go and read it. Come on, where is it? Wait me for a sec. Not this. Not this. Oh, here it is. Today we're going to read Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood. And the characters that here is the wolf, Little Red Riding Hood, the woodcutter, mother, and the granny. Let's go and read this. Wait. And the setting up here is the woods and the house. And the object in here is the food. So let's go and read this. Once upon a time, a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. Actually, she got another name, but everyone calls her Red Riding Hood because she always wears a red coat on herself. One day, her granny was sick, and so her mother baked delicious food for her, including muffins, some loaf, an apple, some cheese, and some tea. And she put it in a basket, wrapped very carefully. Then she called Little Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood, can you please deliver this to your granny? Little Red Riding Hood ran down. You could just call me Red, Mom. Mom agreed to her. And then she said, but can you please deliver this to Granny? Why? Red asked. That because Granny is now sick now. I just want you to deliver some snack for her so she can be more better. Little Red Riding Hood agreed. Then she took carefully the basket, which is wrapped very carefully. Then the mother warned her, just go as the path leads to the hill. Never go to the woods, okay? Little Red Riding Hood agreed. Then she started to go on her journey. On the way on the path to the granny house, she met a wolf. She was very scared that she jumped up and her basket fell on the ground. The wolf take it up and give it back to her. The wolf nicely asked her, where are you going, little girl? Little Red Riding Hood and Red answered, well, I'm on my way to the granny. My mom said I only just go on this path, and then I can go to my granny house. She also said that I cannot go to the woods because that is dangerous. The wolf interrupted her. But don't care about what your mother says. Look at the woods. There are many beautiful flowers here. Pick some for your granny. She might love it. Then the Little Red Riding Hood stopped thinking about her mother's warning. Then she agreed and go to the wood to take some. She go in here and pick the beautifulest plants and flowers, while the wolf ran quickly on the path, leads on the hill, and go down, and then go to another hill, which has a house here. He peeked at the window. The granny is on her bed, coughing. And then he started he starts to sneak inside without Granny noticing him. Then the wolf starts to jump out and swallow Granny whole. Then in the wolf tummy, Granny squirm, wiggle and wiggle, but it doesn't help any. Soon the wolf started feeling he going to barf. But instead of barfing some splatto, he barfed out the Granny clothes, which includes the hat, her dress gown, and her glasses. Then the wolf knows that Red was a small girl, which haven't known a lot. So he started to wear on the hat, and wear the glasses, and wear the gown, and jumped in bed, mimicking the Granny, which is got some fake cough. Then after Red done picking the flowers, she put them in the basket. Then she started skipping to the way to the house. She skipped on the hill, down the hill, and then on the hill again. And that's where she found a house. And then she looked through the window. The wolf, which pretends to be the Granny, was still coughing. And Little Red Riding Hood thinks that her Granny is coughing. She felt very worried about her. Then she started to open here. When the wolf noticing her and did a chuckle and did a small chuckle, and then he pretend to make an old voice like Granny. Oh ho ho, my little child, what do you bring to me? Why are you here? But instead of answering the wolf, Little Red Riding Hood started noticing her Granny got a large nose, which is not unusual. Then Little Red started to ask the wolf, Granny, why do you got a big nose? Then the wolf answered, to smell you better, my little child. Then Red started asking again, why do you got big ears? Then the wolf answered again, to hear you better, darling. Then she asked, why do you got big hands? Then the wolf answered, to hug you better, darling. And then she asked, why do you got a giant mouth? Then the wolf started to spring up and yell, to eat you better. To eat you better, my lunch. Then he started to chase Little Red Riding Hood until she's exhausted. But the wolf isn't. He wait for Little Red Riding Hood to stop. And when she started to stop to breathing, the wolf jumped on her and opened his wide mouth and swallowed Red Riding Hood whole. And then he didn't mind about the food though. And here she saw Granny was sitting here. After we see each other, we ran and hugged. And then that time the wolf started to go to sleep. And one day later, the woodcutter saw a house out here. He asked himself, weird, I never seen a house in here. Anyway, I wonder what's in here. When he opened the door and go inside, instead of seeing people and persons, he saw a bad wolf is sleeping on the bed. The woodcutter, very surprised, and slowly tiptoeing to the wolf, and used his axe to open the wolf's tummy. Then he is very surprised to saw Red and her granny was in here. Then they soon carefully go out without the wolf start to know. And then soon the woodcutter commands to Red and Granny to bring a lot of rocks as possible. Then those two gets hundreds of rocks. Then they all stuff the wolf tummy with rocks. And then the woodcutter sewed back again, and soon 3 of them all try their best to take the wolf out of the house. And then they put him on the faraway river. And that time, Little Red Riding Hood thanks the woodcutter, and she with Red go back to the house and get some loaf, cheese, muffins, and some apple with tea. That time when the wolf was woke up because he felt he got a stomach ache. But instead of being the food he thinks the food was digest, it just keep on here, making him kept on being very looking fat. That time, the rocks was very dirty, and it got bacteria, which made the wolf sick, and then he goes to hell. Died. Okay? And now the last part, actually I made it up, you know. Actually, I not read as possible. Read as the wolf says, because this story is very short, you know. And so maybe you enjoying this, though. Hope you got a good and sweet dream. Bye-bye.